We've reached the final hidden driver in this entire masterclass, and it's something you consume every single day, usually without a second thought: your water. Certain contaminants in the water supply may exert subtle, suppressive effects on the glands that regulate your metabolism, making it harder to maintain the stable internal environment that keeps inflammation and pain in check. Let me walk you through this last piece, carefully and honestly. I'm Dr. Padda. This is the final episode of our Exposome sub-series and of this entire masterclass on the hidden drivers of chronic pain. It's fitting to end with water, one of the most fundamental and most universal exposures of all. As always, I'll give you the proposed mechanisms along with an honest sense of what's established and what's still debated. Here's the context. Municipal water treatment does enormously important work. It makes water safe from dangerous pathogens, and that's saved countless lives. But the treatment process and the water supply can also introduce certain compounds. Chlorination byproducts, which form when chlorine used for disinfection reacts with organic matter, and in many areas, added fluoride. These are present at low regulated levels. The question this episode explores is whether chronic, daily, lifelong exposure to these compounds may have subtle effects on the endocrine glands that govern your metabolism. It's a question about the cumulative effect of small, constant exposure. Here's the proposed mechanism. The concern is that certain water contaminants may exert suppressive effects on endocrine glands, particularly the thyroid, and in some discussions, the pineal gland. Connect this to two earlier episodes. From the thyroid episode, anything that reduces effective thyroid function slows your metabolic rate and your tissue repair and reduces your metabolic flexibility, your ability to maintain stable blood sugar. From the circadian and melatonin episodes, the pineal gland produces melatonin with its antioxidant and pain modulating roles. So the proposed pathway is that subtle chronic suppression of these glands could reduce your metabolic flexibility, making it harder to maintain the stable glucose levels needed to keep systemic inflammation low, feeding right back into the metabolic inflammatory engine of pain. Here's what makes this category distinctive. We're not talking about a dramatic, acute poisoning. We're talking about the potential for small, subtle effects from low-level compounds, but experienced through constant, daily, years-long exposure. Because water is something you consume continuously throughout your life. The question is whether those small effects accumulate into something metabolically meaningful over time. This is genuinely difficult to study and to be certain about, which is exactly why I want to approach it with both open-mindedness and appropriate caution, rather than overstating it. So let me be honest about where the evidence stands, because this is an area with real debate. What's established? Water disinfection is a vital public health measure, and disinfection byproducts are studied and regulated for good reason. What's been studied with some supportive findings? There's research, including population studies, examining associations between higher fluoride exposure and thyroid function. What is genuinely contested and not settled? Claims about fluoride's effects on the pineal gland and the broader significance of these exposures for chronic pain remain debated and are not established fact. So I present this as a reasonable area of inquiry and a sensible target for reducing unnecessary exposure, not as proven causation. I'd rather end this masterclass with intellectual honesty than with false certainty. That honesty is part of what you should expect from any clinician you trust. So if you've wondered about the quality of your water and whether it affects your health, that's a reasonable curiosity, not paranoia. Wanting clean water and reasonably reducing unnecessary exposures is sound, and it's low risk regardless of how the finer scientific debates resolve. At the same time, you deserve honesty rather than fear. The right posture here, as throughout this whole series, is thoughtful attention to your whole environment, grounded in real evidence and free of hype. You can take your environment seriously without falling for absolutism. That balance is exactly where good medicine lives. So here's how we bring it all together. We consider your complete exposome, including fundamental daily inputs like your water, as part of a truly comprehensive picture of your pain, something conventional pain care never does. Where it makes sense, we support reasonable, low-risk steps to reduce unnecessary exposures, including water filtration. We assess thyroid and metabolic function thoughtfully and in full context, as we discussed. And we stay grounded in evidence, taking your whole environment seriously while being honest about what is and isn't proven. This is the philosophy behind everything we do, Look at the whole person and the whole environment, address the real drivers, and never settle for just numbing the signal. And that brings us to the end of this masterclass. 50 hidden drivers of chronic pain, from the hormones in your blood, to the energy in your cells, to the environment all around you. If there's one message I hope you carry from all of it, it's this. Your pain is not a mystery and it is not a life sentence. It has real, identifiable, addressable causes. And you've now seen how many of them there are, and how many no one ever told you about. You don't have to keep just numbing the signal. You can find and address what's actually driving it. That's exactly what we do. If you're ready to understand your pain at this depth and finally treat its real causes, go to painmd.tv and take the first step. I'm Dr. Padda. Your pain has a cause across all 50 of these. We've been proving it. Now let's go find yours and treat it together.